Hey, hey, it says I'm live. Settled in still. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how strange it is to have the image flipped. What I'm seeing as I talk to you is the right is left and left is right. There's a teaching, is it? Maybe I just won't focus so much on myself. Can you imagine that? All right, my dears, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Couldn't do this without you. My name's Alex Levin, and we're here together at Sun and Moon Yoga Studios YouTube portal. Please do check us out at online, sunandmoonstudio.com, and see our offerings. There are many virtually, but also if you're in the Northern Virginia area, we have two beautiful spaces, calm, halcyon havens to come to recharge, to connect. So, hello, Mary Beth, who's here with me. And I think somebody I haven't met yet, Maggie, might join us at some point. Lisa Sajowski's been joining us. I hope, Ann Catherine, you're out there. It's been a long time since we've connected. Lana sometimes joins. Um, Virginia and Jackie and Kamalesh and Sandra. I look forward to hearing something from all of you sometime soon. All right, let's get started. So, half hour of arriving, connecting, acquainting ourselves with our sense of presence. It's always here, but if you're one way to express it is I feel like I drift away from it. I become unconscious that my source is always here, that what I am at the root is always here, and that seems to be the cause of suffering. So let's arrive. I like to first get centered, grounded through our body. This is a amazing gift of our the gift of this life on earth in a body that often causes us trouble as well and delight, but it can be the doorway to coming home to ourself. So how do we do that? Feeling this gift of feeling of our nervous system, perceiving, and taking a little different perspective than where our focus is outside of practice time. Although the hope is that the practice will spill over to more and more moments of our life. So arriving and you can narrate for yourself, and this has a very powerful effect that my teacher Russell and Linda from the Embodied Life School often talk about. To narrate, and I'll narrate as an example, I can feel the pressure of my shin bones, the lower shin bones against each other as my feet are tucked under me. It's kind of a snug, so far comfortable. And so the narrating as you do we do this anyway, so we might it's natural, and you can even do it out loud. There's a benefit to doing it out loud as you are in your space if that feels like something you can do. My feet are a little cooler, but they're feeling the warmth of the insulation of the couch and my thighs above the feet. It's almost like it's this is a drastic explanation, but you know how when you're really cold outside, you feel like you're almost frostbit and you come back into warmth. It's almost that. It's a very palpable, sometimes painful feeling of the hands warming up, receiving the warmth. And this paying attention to the parts of our body, perhaps the shoulders, as we're in this field of gravity, this field, but also gravity is a movement, a pull, an energy bringing us close and grounded to earth. As usual, my animals, my cat and dog are nearby, and their sleeping bodies are such evidence of releasing into that gravitational field. Perhaps you're also beginning to feel your breath and feeling a little bit of that presence, that something that's always, always sort of from inside watching you or from up above watching you, from out behind watching you. Any of those can be helpful, but really presence is ubiquitous everywhere. Your eyes might be open or a little bit closed, or a little open or closed, or all the way open. You could be doing this lying down, seated, standing, even walking perhaps. And like me, you might still be adjusting the breath, how breath is here, how your body is receiving or resisting or enjoying breath. Again, let the words come as they do, just without grabbing onto them, but letting them be part of what you notice. Perhaps like me, you're feeling a little bit of the pollen effect on breathing. If you're in an area where that is happening, allow your body to keep registering all parts. You can sort of feel my belly and hips, the spinal column. It's registering the downward pull, but also the ease, the buoyancy that is the partner of gravity. Buoyancy. And the third element, I always work with these three: ground, breath, sound, and space around. These three pointers to help me, to help us come present. We've already sort of taken in out external things, breath that comes, sort of the air coming from outside, gravity, which is in us, but all around us, pollen, sound. You might hear lightly the sound of the fan that's in my space. You might hear the birds lightly, I barely hear them. And so maybe you can also notice now, something different about your experience, about how you're sensing yourself? And if so, or even if not, express some words out loud what it is that would put a little label on what it is that you're experiencing. It's simple. Don't overthink it. Sort of like let me offer mine. I feel very present. I feel present and spacious, connected, and yucky inside the lungs, yucky, the scratchy. So notice what I did there. Yeah, from I went from yucky, which is a little more general to because lots can be yucky, to scratchy. And it's not quite scratchy either. Yeah, it is a little scratchy, but it's not very scratchy. It's like that sandpaper that has different gradations. It's not the super scratchy one. It's the low scratchy. I'll share why I think this is valuable in a little bit. So let's come into a little tiny bit of movement. This is going to be small as usual, mini movement, but powerful. And as you take the movement I suggest, please also notice not just the part of the body I'm suggesting or the movement areas, but all. So sort of keep your peripheral sensing open to sense the whole body, the whole experience. Take one of your shoulders and move it back a little bit and then back into place. And you'll barely see this on the screen if you're watching me. I'll try to make it larger, but you don't need to make it big. I'm taking my left shoulder back and then just relax it back into place. Just a tiny movement and let it go. When you let it go, come full stop before you start again. And take a pause when you take the shoulder back before you bring it forward again or let it retract back into place. It almost feels like it just recoils back. And perhaps, yes, you might be adding your breath in sync with this, like a moving it back, breathing in or breathing out. Or you might not be. That's fine. And pause. Something may feel a little or a lot different. And if you like, you can give it a name, some short words, like in a poetic way, in a simple way. There might be a contrast from right to left in the body. There might be that you're noticing, like I'm just noticing something liven up in the lower rib cage below that shoulder that just moved. A livening up. See, it's kind of it can be just your own way of putting it. Now let's take the same shoulder and take it forward a little bit and then let it retract back into place. Forward a little bit, back into place. A few times. Noticing how this moves, how this asks, what it asks of other places in your body, what helps, what stays rooted, what comes along, what twists, what arcs. And let it go. Relax for a moment. Notice ground, breath, sound, and anything that's new. And now let's take the other shoulder. Let's bring it forward first. Could be very different on this side. And again, just to give you an example of how as we tell ourselves, narrate what's happening freshly in the moment, this shoulder feels like a much bigger, feels less. I'm gesturing, and that's a good thing to do. That's part of how we can tell it. 'Cause I can't find the word yet. It's much more rigid. It's no, it's not quite it. It's much more. It's moving like it was as one big piece instead of like a bunch of flowing pieces. Might be a word for that. And then let's go backward, backward and back to center or where you started. Also feels different. It feels like I'm taking a little hitch up and back. And so I tried to do it differently the next time. There's lots of different paths this little simple movement could take to the same direction. Let's take this shoulder forward and back. We didn't pause, and we added another on this side. And enjoy it, let it become fluid. It's a good idea to look for what's fluid, what's harmonious with that location there at the shoulder, but also all of you. All right, let it go. Be still. And at this stillness, I'm going to take us right into our formal meditation, right into the stillness, sitting for about 7 minutes. Not sure how the sound is coming through. I hope the bell is resonating. And notice now the sensations of your body as we begin this short meditation, where we don't really change much, but we are committing to stillness and we're breathing and simply being, as lots and lots may arise. And as we begin, I invite you to do this one little thing, which is outside really the meditation, but to again label just now for yourself, maybe even out loud, what it is your experience is here right at this moment. And it could just be a little part of it. It could be a little distraction, like I'm feeling like, oh, I want to rearrange my legs, even though we've already started. Ah, that's better. So just for yourself, for another few moments, what's the narration of the report of what's here right now? And then let that go and simply sit in a relaxed way, in an open way, All the elements we've done so far inform us, but we don't need to think of them unless it's helpful, unless you feel distracted, unless you feel restlessness. Coming to the breath or the feel of the body can be helpful to quote unquote bring us back. Relax in the jaw a little bit more, relax in the belly. Let gravity help you. So feeling just can lightly touch into, especially if you feel parts of yourself tensing or parts of yourself in discomfort or pain. It helps to let in, go into the gravity and then find the partnering buoyancy, lightness. As with the movement, be on the lookout for ease, harmony, just holding that lightly as well. And perhaps for another minute, just letting go of all the thought forms toward being. Right where you are, if you've been holding your hands in a mudra, you might let it go, and if you need to take any shift of your body, feel free to do that. But stay in this meditative state as I'll ask you to ponder a few things. First is to consider where where in your life you feel something meaningful, and perhaps the word purpose could be substituted there. What brings you meaning? And again, don't overthink. If sometimes these questions you may find that challenge you, maybe it comes easily, could be in nature, could be in a kind of work you do, could be in good health, could be in serving others. And bring one of those to mind, one that really feels meaningful, that feels has that strong sense of it. Hold it in your mind, maybe even bring a specific image of where that happens. Maybe it's if you're a teacher and when you're reviewing your students' work on paper or on the computer, however it's done these days, and you're connecting with them in that way. Maybe it's the way you care for your garden. And then as you're holding this image and in all its technicolor color, and as if it's happening right now, notice how you feel and report as we have been. Perhaps a feeling might be aligned, connected, mm, happy to be of service, present. Perhaps I'm just giving you some ideas. And then let that one go. We're going through this a little quickly, but you might return to it if you find this valuable. Let that one go and conjure up a time, a place where, or a situations where you feel not connected or not when meaning is lost, when meaning is eluding you, or purpose. Perhaps it helps to substitute the word purpose or meaning. Notice what shifts happen perhaps in your body as I kind of even noticed my face get a little more serious, more to the serious end of things. Tiny bit of sourness, a tiny bit of clenching in my gut. And I don't even have the image yet. And when you do have the image, maybe you'll even get a few more, you can report a little more detail. Notice my brow furrowing as example from here, and a scatteredness, a disconnected, a floundering, and um, a self-criticism. And perhaps another bodily sense, like a heaviness yet scatteredness, those two together. Over heaviness, not the heaviness, the good uh, um, feel of when we're finding our seat, finding our arriving. So let's go back. Let's let that one go. Go back to what's meaningful. And just as an example, what's drawing me is nature right now, sunset, a beach, that gazing out in a distance, that vastness. So I've been invited to ponder meaning myself in a couple ways from two different sources these last couple weeks. And this morning, listening to my teacher's talk on it. And one of the things housed in meaning as we're looking for it, which he pointed out, and that was like, oh, yeah, as we're looking for meaning, there is this pull to connect, and almost a sense of prayer. Connect to the presence. And I'll just leave you with one of his thoughts, and maybe I'll revisit this next week. Mm, next Sunday. It's much easier to find for the universe to find you when you're here, when you're present. We're part of a larger living. Something is looking for us when we are looking for it. There's been a ideology of individualism for the last several decades at least, or especially in our Western society, a rampant individuality, and we can celebrate the gift of this, but it's very helpful to balance it with finding ourself in the larger scheme, this connection. So I don't want to go over too much. I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you so much for joining me. May you enjoy the rest of your day. May you enjoy these thoughts and just enjoy your life as you go on. Thank you. Thank you for being here with me. Ciao, ciao. See you next time, and I'll be somewhere remote. I hope to be in that near Asheville, North Carolina, but I should be able to join you from where I am. Ciao, ciao.